Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Boston's Future Leaders Class of 2021 graduation. On behalf of the entire Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, welcome. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us, our wonderful class of 2021, and your support system, your nominators, your managers, and your loved ones. My name is Rachel Benjamin. I'm the Leadership and Talent Development Programs Manager here at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, and I am so excited to be your MC today for our BFL graduation. A note that this session is being recorded and will be posted on our Chamber YouTube channel after the program. The mission of Boston's Future Leaders is to equip emerging leaders with the skills and the network that they need to lead Boston into the future. And this has been no easy feat, as the world around us has become increasingly more complex through a pandemic, a recession, and racial injustice. The class of 2021 is extraordinary and had an extraordinary year. You studied the top socially conscious and civically engaged leadership skills. You shaped the region through 2 hands-on projects, the hackathon with JLL and your individual action project. And while studying change, this group also lived through it and persevered through it most of all. The cohort demonstrated adaptability as we ran this program in a virtual format as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was not easy to juggle work and family and other personal commitments. And I commend each and every one of you who attended class with a child on your lap, had to attend class while you were traveling to drop a child off or take care of a family member, or manage other accommodations. This was an extraordinary time and you rose to the challenge. With so many responsibilities in your work and personal lives, it was truly admirable that you chose to prioritize your leadership and professional growth this year. And we at the Chamber are so grateful that you did with the Boston's Future Leaders program. Today, I am so excited that we will celebrate all of that you have accomplished and celebrate you joining an incredible alumni network of other leaders in the Boston community. The future of Boston and the region is in your hands, your excellent hands. To get us started, I would like to welcome our first speaker today, Jim Rooney, President and CEO of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. Jim, please turn on your camera and join us.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Welcome, everyone. I'm happy to be joining Boston's Future Leaders Class of 2021 again and participating in your graduation ceremony. I was so impressed by the work you all did for the hackathon with JLL. I still talk about some of the ideas and perspectives that you shared during that. I'll come back to that conversation later. Boston's Future Leaders is all about nurturing you on the path to being the next generation of leaders. And we know that we need you now more than ever. This year was a masterclass in agility and adaptability, and each of you rose to the occasion to lead through change during this year. You navigated an ongoing pandemic, economic crisis, and a racial reckoning. You adapted to virtual learning, some while also actively caretaking. You supported your employers and your colleagues as well as one another. You shaped the future of work through presentations to JLL, our hackathon partner. Gratitude to the folks at JLL. You faced challenges this year and emerged stronger leaders and built a new cohesive community. I hope some of you will stay connected. We need leaders like you, eager to make change, not intimidated by the challenges of today, and able to see opportunity. I'm encouraged that you pursued this professional development to invest in yourself during the pandemic. This Boston Future Leaders class represented their values and concerns with passion, and I know that all of you will continue to lead your communities with empathy, advocating for equity and inclusivity at every step. The consistent theme throughout the Leadership Challenge Hackathon with JLL was people. I would encourage you to keep this theme in mind as you go forward in your leadership journey. Here at the Chamber, we have made the success of the people who work for our members part of our purpose statement. And you shouted out during the hackathon, We must focus on a people-first approach as we move into the future of work. We heard from everyone that this means hearing and understanding the lives of people and how that intersects with work, including childcare, transportation, and the ways that flexibility can be extended to employees and teams. One quote that stood out for me from the hackathon was, "How are we going to inspire a new rhythm?" This is such a complex issue, and your concepts and ideas were incredibly well thought out and relevant to an ongoing real-life conversation about returning to the office. Before closing, I want to give special thanks to Rachel Benjamin for her leadership and dedication to this program. Rachel has only been with the Chamber for just over a year and was quite literally thrown into a leadership role in this program due to some staff changes and a maternity leave. I can tell you that the entire Chamber team is thankful and proud of the way Rachel has stepped up in this moment. And in some ways, Rachel has demonstrated what it means to see and seize the opportunity and show initiative, and has provided a real-life lesson for the BFL class of 2021. Thank you, Rachel. Next, we will hear from our Chamber Board member, Jay McQuaid, representing our sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. I'm grateful for Jay's leadership, especially during this past year, and for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts for their generous, transformative sponsorship of this important leadership series. As you think about issues of organizational culture and people-focused leadership, I would encourage you to be an observer of Andrew Dreyfus and his leadership team at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, including Jay McQuaid. They get it. Thank you, Jay, and I'll pass it on to you.
Well, Jim, that was very kind of you. Thank you. And thanks to you and your team. And just amplify the point you made about Rachel and Kate, the whole Chamber team, for the energy and the passion. And I love your line about the masterclass in agility. That was true certainly for the participants, but I suspect it was also true for Rachel and Kate and the entire team that pulled this off. I can't imagine a more critical time when you think about where we are as a community, as a country, given the pandemic and other developments, where exploring these issues around leadership growth has ever been more important. We face a very uncertain and volatile world in our jobs and in our lives. And every day, it seems, we pick up the paper and we hear and read about the great resignation, or the big quit, as some have called it, and the challenges that we all face particularly in our work world, about building and recruiting and retaining highly effective and performing teams. And so one of the key variables we know is leadership. And what I really like about this program in particular is that it is not, forgive the kind of phrase generic, but it is not a generic leadership development program. Rather, it's about the important role that leaders have to play, and I do say have to play going forward, in civic engagement and community involvement, and ensuring that all of our work adds value, not just to our company, to our employee engagement scores, or even to our bottom line, but rather adds value to the world around us. By the way, the other big theme I hear often about this program, particularly from Blue Cross leaders who have attended or are attending, is that they benefit greatly from learning from others and from having conversations with people in different sectors and industries and different experiences and different life backgrounds, and having a place, a community where they can talk and share ideas, opportunities, and challenges. And so I hope that will continue to be a staple and a hallmark of this program as it goes forward. We're great to be involved. We're proud to be involved in the Futures program, the Leaders program, and it's our best wishes. And thanks to the Chamber for putting it on, and congratulations to all of those who are graduating today at this event. And we hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And thanks again for taking part. Best wishes for the new year. Rachel, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay, and to Jim for your words of encouragement and inspiration. We have truly been so grateful to have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts as a sponsor for this year's program, and special congratulations to those members who participated in BFL this year. Before introducing our next speakers, I want to share an overview of this year's Boston's Future Leaders program. At Harvard Business School, we co-created a model that outlined the three aspects of strong leadership: vision and mission, operational and management structures, and relationships and the ability to relate authentically. And in a nutshell, this is what BFL is all about: equipping you all with the leadership frameworks, the tools, the connections and networks to help you refine your vision for your career and for the region, and your ability to execute against in an inclusive and equitable way. And throughout the program, we really wanted to emphasize you all as the experts and the leaders. You shared your artifact exercise at orientation. You learned about inclusive leadership, adaptive supervision, and effective communication. And then you actually put them into practice by developing your own tactics and strategies in our part 2 sessions that we had over the summer. I know personally, it was so exciting to see the strategies and tactics that you put together. And I know I'll be implementing some of those in my own career because you really have shown that you are the experts. You also provided well thought out and researched recommendations to JLL and your own organizations about the future of work, which is one of the biggest questions we're trying to answer to date. And finally, you began implementing incredibly important projects at your own organizations based on your individual action projects. All in all, class of 2021, you have demonstrated throughout this program that you are the leaders that Boston needs to lead us into the future. And now we will hear from another incredible leader in Boston, Omari Aarons. Omari, please turn your camera on and join us as I introduce you. Omari is the founder and managing partner of the Aarons Group, a workplace diversity and inclusion consulting firm. A proud alumni of Apple, Macy's, and Liberty Mutual, Omari frequently integrates perspectives from his corporate and community leadership experiences into his work. He serves on a number of very impressive boards: Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Massachusetts, the National African American Insurance Association of Boston, and Roxbury Community College. Omari was recognized by the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce as a 2020 10 Outstanding Young Leader, which also our own Matteo Urella was also recognized for this year. And this is an incredible and outstanding award. And Omari was also named a 2021 40 LGBTQ Leader Under 40 for North America by Business Equality Magazine. Omari, on top of all of these other incredible accomplishments, is a Howard Thurman Fellow at Boston University School of Theology, where he's pursuing a Master of Divinity. Welcome, Omari, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Go Terriers. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's such a pleasure to be with you today. And let me thank you, Rachel, and Kate, and the entire team at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, and to Hannah Zen as well for recommending me to be here. I have a few friends who are graduating today, and it's always dangerous to call names, so I'm not going to call anyone out. I'm not going to call you out, Matteo, or you, Jeff, but just know that I see you and that I'm proud of you. It's also always a little bit dangerous to give a Black preacher a time limit for speeches, but even more dangerous not to do so. So our time together today is short, and since you're the main event, we're going to jump in quickly. I want to speak for just a few moments on the topic, Ain't I a Leader? In 1851, Sojourner Truth delivered a speech entitled, Ain't I a Woman? It has become one of the most famous speeches in abolitionist history, and perhaps one of the first that combines a speaker's position as a formerly enslaved Black American and as a woman. Her speech is poignant and at times satirical in its commentary on the issues of the day. Sojourner Truth attacks the notion that her race and ethnicity deny her the genteel society treatment of a woman in a time where the argument was that one part of her identity exempted her from the privileges and responsibility of the other. It's a powerful and moving speech, and one worth reading if you're not familiar with it. I thought about Sojourner Truth's speech relative to the context of leadership, and I would position that the question you must ask yourself today is, ain't I a leader? I, like all of us gathered here today, have asked myself this very question many times in my life. As a teenager, I endured many talks meant to inspire me to be, quote, a good leader. In each of them, it seemed that the moment for when I would transform would happen at some predetermined date or event sometime in the future. And so I wondered if I was a leader when elected to the Student Senate, my freshman year of undergrad. I wondered if I was a leader when I took my first job out of college and I had a few people reporting to me. I wondered if I was a leader when I joined my first nonprofit board. As you heard, I've been blessed to earn many awards and receive recognitions for my work over the years, all of which I credit to my parents, who are both community activists. Most of the awards that I've won are some derivative of Rising Star or Emerging Leader or One to Watch. There's always a qualifier in there. There's always some sort of distinction. Last year, I thought I finally made it to this destination of Leadershipville that I've been journeying toward my entire life. But 3 weeks after the chamber named me to the 2020 10 Outstanding Young Leaders class, there goes that qualifier again, I was downgraded again to just being a rising star by Insurance Business America. I can't catch a break. The definition of leader has also been evolving. I grew up in the era of servant leadership, which told us that true leaders are selfless and grounded in humility and focused on serving others. Now, research looks at transformative leadership as a comparison to servant leadership, where charisma, responsiveness, and strategic thinking are key qualifiers. Research tries to parse apart the best approach to defining leadership, positioning the attributes of each as a non-integratable dichotomy, as if charismatic leaders can't also embrace humility, as if servant leadership isn't about transformation at its core. And here's the thing. The world is on fire. There isn't one issue at hand, there are many, and they are all urgent. They all need people who have been trained to be socially conscious and civically engaged in the way that you have. Boston certainly needs you. And so after these many months of hard work, you've made it to this point, your graduation day. And if you are still wondering how you'll answer the question, Sojourner Truth has inspired me to ask you today, ain't I a leader? I hope that you'll remember this moment, your classmates, this experience that you've been on over the past year, so you can answer confidently why, yes, I am. May God bless you and keep you, and congratulations, class of 2021. Rachel, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Amari. That was so inspiring. And I think it was so great to hear. There were so many moments from that. And I know you're getting some applause in the chat. It was so great to hear from you as a leader in our community as we set this group off on their leadership journey ahead. So thank you so much. I am now thrilled to turn things over to your chosen class speaker, Janitra Brooks, Janitra, if you want to turn your camera on while I introduce you. She was nominated by her cohort to represent them and share about her experience in BFL today. And I was not at all surprised when I saw that you had the most votes for being our chosen class speaker, because you were truly a leader for this cohort this year. As the Chief Human Resources Officer at Brookline Bancorp, Janitra leads the strategy, development, and execution of people operations for the 5 companies under the Bancorp. Over the past 15 years, she has established herself as an effective HR leader, growing her career across multiple industries and organizations. She truly believes that a company's most valuable asset are their people. She's passionate about supporting and developing collaborative, effective, and authentic leaders, and cultivating thriving employee work experiences. Janitra holds a Bachelor's of Art in Psychology and a paralegal certificate from the University of Hartford. And on top of all of that, obtained a certificate of diversity, equity, and inclusion from Cornell University. Please welcome Janitra as our class speaker.
Thank you, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here and be this year's Boston Future Leader class speaker. I honestly cannot believe how fast the last 10 months have gone by, even by COVID time standards. The BFL elections were in February and the program began in March. It was a new year and things were supposed to be better, but 2020 started like the world's worst 2020 hangover. There was transition of presidents, unemployment rates were sky high, the Delta variant had peaked, deaths and hospitalizations were breaking records day after day. Lockdowns and capacity restrictions were being reintroduced, vaccines were being developed, and weren't widely available, and effectiveness was still being determined. Collectively, we were literally surrounded by uncertainty and consumed by all things COVID-19. Additionally, many of us were working remotely full-time. We may have been busy navigating remote school, juggling schedules with our partners, attending countless Zoom meetings and virtual happy hours, but in general, it was still isolating and a dark time. Frankly, I think most of us were just trying to survive and make it to the next day. When the chairman and CEO of my company, Paul Peralt, nominated me for Boston Future Leaders, I was excited. It was a fantastic opportunity to collaborate and learn with a select group of leaders representing several industries and businesses from around the city. Instead of focusing on what was going wrong, it was a chance to focus on solutions and possibilities. BFL was a beacon of light and a promise that better days were ahead. The program didn't escape the impact of COVID and was virtual. Although this meant not physically being together, I think there were advantages to being virtual. Through the breakout sessions, the group project meetings, and our independent project support group, and Slack donut meetings, I had the opportunity to interact and connect with so many of you. The collaboration, support, understanding, and encouragement each of you brought to this session is what made the program. The program is the vehicle to bring us together, but it's our commitment and individual experiences and perspectives that makes this special. Like most things in life, it always comes back to people and connection. We are Boston's future leaders. Let's break this down. Boston. Boston is evolving. It's in metamorphosis. The workforce is changing the way we work and the definition of a successful company. There's a shift in generational power from boomers to millennials, and increase in diversity in influential positions, such as the mayor of Boston, and buying power. And now we're navigating a pandemic. We are learning, shifting, and defining the new Boston. In the words of Michelle Obama, we are becoming. Future. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word future is defined as that is to be, or relating to a time yet to come, or occurring at a later time. Future is a concept of time, and time is relative. Future does not have to mean years, months, weeks, days, or even hours. The future is your next breath. The future is now. Leader. Each of you are here because you were nominated by someone who thought you displayed leadership abilities. We are all here because we represented our organizations and lights that thought that they wanted us to continue to grow and develop. However, I bet you all the JP like Oreo ice cream, if you surveyed the cohort on the first day and asked what a leader was, a majority of us would have defined a leader as something outside of themselves, a manager, an executive, a teacher, etc. But that was before our first sessions began. Brene Brown, in her book, Dare to Lead, said, "You can't understand leadership if you don't talk about power." During our first HBS module, Julia Bartolana discussed the politics of change, and specifically that power in and of itself isn't bad. In fact, she emphasized we all have power within us that so often we give away when we shouldn't. Power is energy. It's the ability to achieve purpose, affect change, and influence others to do the same. Each and every one of us has this power. In order to know your power, you have to become self-aware. To become self-aware, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable means learning through mistakes and knowing when to ask for help. Vulnerability is the willingness to let your authentic self, your power, be seen. The best qualities of an effective leader, empathy, trust, creativity, accountability, inclusion, resiliency, and adaptability are all rooted in vulnerability. It takes courage to be a leader. To be a leader means you must accept being human. We aren't perfect, we can't go through this life alone, and at the end of the day, we are all searching for connection, meaning, and that our time here in this life has meant something. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it's the importance of connection, the need for that sense of belonging, of purpose. As a society, we are learning that we need each other to get through the hard times. As leaders, we understand this. We are the ones who bring people together, seek solutions, and are willing to use our power in a way that encourages and supports others to use theirs. A leader understands we are truly better together. Being a part of the cohort has made me better. I am fortunate to not only leave this program with a better understanding of my leadership style, tools, and resources to effect positive change within my organization, I'm walking away with connection and friends that will have forever changed me. To the Boston Future Leader Class of 2021, thank you for showing up, using your power, encouraging me to use mine, and leading the future of Boston today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janitra. I had a smile on my face throughout your speech as it was so inspiring. And I love what you said about BFL being just a vehicle to bring you all together, but that you are all the leaders, and the people and the connections that you have made in this program are what will lead you as leaders into the future. So thank you so much for that. I know you're getting some great applause from your cohort members in the chat. As a class, Boston's future leaders, you have overcome challenges that we couldn't have imagined at the start of this program, but you also didn't wait to make a difference. And that is exactly the level of grit, determination, adaptability, and innovation that we need to continue our work of making Greater Boston the most welcoming and inclusive place for all people to work and thrive. The future, as we have seen from these last 2 years, is always uncertain, and you will use the skills that you learned in this program to shape your organization and region for the better. We will now display the names of our graduates on the screen. Please join me in congratulating the Boston's Future Leaders Class of 2021 by typing a note of congratulations in the chat window as their names are displayed. And please make sure when you're writing in the chat that you make sure your setting is set to all attendees and panelists. And I will read a few of the chat messages after our wonderful intern Kate displays the names. Kate, over to you. Thank you so much, and congratulations to the class of 2021. I'm seeing some wonderful messages to Denise, Juan, Guav, who else? Alan, Becky, congratulations, Lily, the entire Converse crew, and our entire cohort. Though Boston's Future Leaders is coming to a formal close today, you will always have a place at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. As an alumni, you are always part of our network. And as an alumni benefit, you will have access to our member rate throughout your career to join in on other programs and leadership opportunities. For guidance on how to stay involved with the Chamber, I'm now going to turn things over to Erica Smith, Director of Member Engagement at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. Erica, over to you.
Thank you, Rachel. So as Rachel said, I'm Erica Smith. I am the Director of Member Services at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, and I'm so happy to be able to express my congratulations to the Boston Future Leaders Class of 2021. I also want to give a special shout out to my colleague Denise as well. Congratulations, Denise. I hope you all enjoyed your experience and are looking forward to continuing your journey with the Chamber. Our mission here at the Chamber is to make Greater Boston the best place for all people and all businesses to thrive. And we need leaders like you to help us accomplish that. Throughout this program, you got a taste of what the Chamber has to offer, and I want to give you a bit of an overview of the other ways that you can stay engaged to help shape the future of Greater Boston. So we work towards this mission through a number of initiatives. First, we offer over 100 standalone events per year that range from the City Awake events that you experienced this year to special events such as our upcoming Pinnacle Awards or our annual meeting, to some of our series, for example, our Women's Network forums, our BEMA programming and government affairs forums. Secondly, we research, develop, and advocate for public policies that contribute to the economic success of our region along 6 policy priorities, which are transportation, taxes and good government, housing, healthcare, education, and climate readiness. And thirdly, we offer a portfolio of learning and development programs to give participants the skills and the networks that they need for their careers. You already experience Boston Futures Leaders, and we also offer our Women's Leadership Program, as well as our popular Transformational Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Certificate. And finally, we have our economic opportunity arm that ensures all of the work that we are doing benefits everybody. And this arm has a specific focus on racial equity. So no matter what your interest or experience level, I hope you know that you have a place here, that you belong. And the best way to find out about these opportunities is by subscribing to our newsletters. I encourage you to subscribe, to take advantage, to stay engaged. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, to Rachel, certainly to Denise, or any of my other fabulous colleagues. And we'd be happy to share more about what your chamber membership includes. We look forward to working with each of you in the new year, and I can't wait to see what each of you do next. Back to you, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Erica, for sharing all those wonderful ways to stay engaged with the chamber. And we do hope that you do stay engaged after the program ends. With that, I want to give one final congratulations to the class of 2021 and leave you with a few closing words. When we kicked off the program together in March 2021, which I will say feels like a decade ago, we could never have imagined what this year would bring. And I actually often felt myself thinking back to the subject of our favorite HBS case study, Ernest Shackleton. For those who are uninitiated, Shackleton was an Arctic explorer who tried to be the first ever person to cross Antarctica on foot. However, their ship unfortunately ended up getting crushed by ice. These were unimaginable circumstances, metaphorically not dissimilar to the ones that we have faced in the last 2 years. However, Shackleton was an inspired leader. He kept spirits high and conflict low amongst the crew through a number of imaginative leadership initiatives, which included rotating routine assignments and actively encouraging fun amongst the crew members. Eventually, he also set out on a rescue mission that was considered impossible, and he prevailed and brought every single crew member home alive years after they set sail. This story always reminds me of the importance of leadership, the vital importance of leadership. Just as Shackleton, it's crucial that you, as future leaders, lead with adaptability, perseverance, optimism, and above all, prioritize relationship building and authentic relationships. I truly believe and have seen at every Boston's Future Leaders session that the magic happens when emerging leaders like you come together in authentic relationships. Though Boston's Future Leaders closes today, I hope that your commitment to supporting one another, to advocating for yourself, and to creating conditions for others to thrive in your workplaces and your communities never does. Class of 2021, it has been a great honor to get to see you grow over the last 10 months, and we cannot wait to see what you do next. And know that the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce is with you every step of the way. The region, I know, is in excellent hands with you as leaders. This concludes our public graduation ceremony today. Thank you so much to all of our supporters, managers, and loved ones that joined to celebrate this incredible cohort of leaders. Congratulations, class of 2021. BFL, if you can please join me in our second meeting link in the calendar hold for a brief reception where we will celebrate as just a cohort. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your day and your week, and happy holidays. Thank you, everyone.